Welcome. We are back, and more selling has continued between the stream last night and today. We're just gonna start like this. This is the worst week I've had since January. It's been brutal, very brutal for me. Yeah, it's been really rough. It's a very tough time in the market, and you know, unless you're in puts, it's just blood everywhere, like across the board. It's really tough out there. So I'm gonna break down everything, maybe a little bit of a shorter stream tonight, but I'm gonna get all the major points across. We're gonna talk about Bitcoin and ETH. I'll look at Luna. I think we looked at it last night. It's down 93% today. It's definitely one of the largest names being mentioned across crypto right now. We're going to talk about my thoughts on the market. The S&P closed down another 1.5%. QQQ closed down 3%. So many stocks just absolutely destroyed. We had some earnings after hours. Fisker's at all-time lows. CLOV is like 15 cents away from all-time lows. It's just blood in the streets right now. In short term, it's very scary. It's very fearful. But I said the same thing last night, and I might say the same thing for a while, right? These things can last a while, but in general, you know, it's opportunity. Now, timing the opportunity is the very hard part that 90% of people can't do. But if you can really educate yourself, and you can be the 10% of people that can time and average in and scale into those times with opportunity, and with patience and in time create wealth. But you know, weeks like this, it's like, you know, the opportunity is still there, but it feels like you're just like imagine you're climbing up a ladder. It feels like you've kind of like walked down the ladder a few steps. So now the top of like wherever you're trying to climb to is like way higher, if that makes sense. Like that's how it feels for me this week. But in general, the goal is still to get to the top of the ladder, whether you're, you know, behind where you were yesterday or not. And yeah, let's get started with Bitcoin, which is testing. It actually broke it. It's not confirmed it or anything. And you're probably going to want multiple days of confirmation. But in general, you're testing a breakdown of this key level. This is your most important level, in my opinion. I'm sure you hear a lot of other people talking about the same level. It's a beginner can chart these levels. To be honest, it's not really that tough. You have these lows from January and June of last year. You're testing that. You break this. Let's go over to the weekly for a second. You break this. I mean, we're talking about previous cycle highs as your next support. The 2017 bull run, which was like the first time I heard about Bitcoin. You know, that's like your next support now, around $20,000. So, you know, you break this. Maybe you have some more minor supports you could like pick out over here. You know, there's a little bit of consolidation, like right here, if you zoom in around like 24K, but like, if we're being honest, it's 20K. The next major level, if you break 28K, is 20K. But again, confirmation is very important, and you already are oversold on the daily. You can stay oversold, but you already are oversold. So that's just kind of where you're at. And, you know, I've been saying this for a few weeks now, that weekly time frame just looks meh. And now it's playing out. We're going to see how much more it plays out. And that's where Bitcoin's currently at. Let's see if I haven't looked at ETH today. Let's see if ETH is still holding support. It's broken it, of course. So ETH is now under this blue zone of support between 2150 and 2300. These highs and these lows. Next support I see on Ethereum is around 1723. Okay, that's where you're at in Ethereum. We also have Luna down 93%. It's putting a nice little move right now, but it's literally nothing compared to how much it's dropped. Yeah, this went from in April, about a month ago. This was sitting at all-time highs around $119. It's at the low of today. It was in pennies. It was 69 cents. So it pretty much lost all of its value. I mean, even before today, it had already pretty much lost all of its value, and then it did the same exact thing again today, right? Like if we just look at it like this, yesterday at the close, from highs, it was already down 85%, right? And then today it's down another 90%. So, you know, it's been a very brutal just drop for this. If we go over to the weekly, and again, like I want to start with this. Technicals really do not mean much here at all. Me using technicals on this, take it with 1,000 grains of salt, okay? Look into why this crypto has crashed and literally got destroyed. Please look into the headlines. I did a little bit of research. It's like, what is it called, UST or something. I think I already have it on my watch list. Where is it? Here. So this, I think this is supposed to be stable, and it's clearly not stable right now, and it's attached to this and what's it called, Terra or something. But this is, I don't know, there's like a bunch of different things, but yeah, there's a lot behind this, and I'm honestly not like too familiarized with it. I need to be honest here as well though, and again, this is not me, this is the furthest thing from financial advice. This is not financial advice. I picked up a little bit here, literally around like this area, as like literally an all or nothing. Like if this goes to zero, it goes to zero. I'm thinking of it like literally like this is like an option that expires in an hour. Like either it just goes crazy because it's worth nothing, or it's worth nothing and I lose everything, right? So I've literally put in what I'm willing to risk like 100% of, but I did pick up a little bit in this $1 area. I don't know. It's just like something cool happens, something cool happens. If it doesn't. I'm just saying that as a disclaimer. This is not me trying to like make it a part of the stream. I want to say that because, you know, if let's say it does go to the moon, I'm like, oh, I was holding at $1, and then all of you be like, why didn't you mention that when you were talking about $1? I'm mentioning it, but please do your own research. This is not technical, fundamental. It's just like, what if, you know? But yeah, I even like day traded a little bit yesterday at like 14. I actually walked away with profit. I don't know how, but I traded from like 14 something to like 16 or 17 something. Like, just don't. This has nothing to do with 99% of what I talk about on the stream. I'm just saying it as a disclaimer, okay? So I'm not even gonna talk about the technicals and stuff. Like, yeah, there's some stuff, but it really doesn't matter, okay? But yeah, moving on from crypto, we can talk about oil. Interesting. You kind of developed this little range that we talked about yesterday, and you tested the bottom of it. Bullish engulfing candle today. I just look at this as a range. You know, you can try and look at the technicals in between, but I just look at this whole entire thing as a range. I'm waiting for more data on that. Moving over to metals, bounce off the 200-day moving average for gold. Got some classic bullish divergence developing. Silver broke down yesterday, still maybe just testing the breakdown. You really haven't, you want to spend, you know, when you have like, same thing with the Bitcoin, like I was saying earlier, when you're testing a major support that's like multi-year, you want to have multiple days of confirmation. One close under is not necessarily like the worst breakdown ever, and then vice versa. If you're breaking out, like you want to have multiple days of confirmation, especially if it's a very real resistance, right? So there's that. The dollar kind of going sideways. The Hang Seng Index bouncing up a little bit, filling a gap. And the 10-year, this is the one I said, look for a pullback here, and it doesn't matter, right? This is pulling back. The market's still pulling back, but you are starting to see this pullback occurring. I still think that this has more downside. I mean, if you draw a line right over here, you're breaking your level of demand that you've seen this whole entire uptrend. You're breaking the demand line. So I still think the 10-year can see an increased pullback. We will see, though, if I'm wrong or not. And then moving over to the VIX, kind of consolidating between like 30 and 35 right now. This is a little bit scary. I mean, it's like kind of like a cup and handle, inverse head and shoulders. Like I don't even have to chart. You kind of can see it's a little bit scary. But let's talk about the stock market and how that's looking right now. Okay, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Before I even get into it, let me just read the chat. What's up? THCXLIND. What's up? Plebere, AK, Nerve, Anna, Joey. Alfredo, KTF, Bear Hugs for everyone. Nerve says that song made me. How you doing, Nerve? Zeke says brutal for everyone. We will bounce back stronger together. Absolutely. Me, Tenderfoot, vibes are good. Alfredo, hodl for the godel. I don't know what that means, but or hodl. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but I know what that means. I don't know what GODL means. I've heard HODL before. I'm old now, everybody, okay? I'm 20 now. I'm old. I'm no longer a teenager. I don't get these terms that all the cool kids are using nowadays. All right. And then Anna said, my mom said it looked scary. Thank you for letting us know about that, all right? Thank you for the input. All right, so the stock market continuing lower. We did talk about this breakdown of the 400 level, and I was basically saying, as of the closes, you were breaking down, you know, maybe CPI is good and you could just spring back above it. You tried to do that in the morning, even though CPI, I think, came in at 8.3% year over year, which, again, we were hoping for under 8.1%. Let's see. Does it say here? No, this is just, does it say anywhere here? I don't see it, but yeah. So not like a huge spike or anything, but it's not going down, which is what a lot of analysts were expecting. We're kind of, you know, slightly higher, I believe. Actually, what was the last reading? Let me actually just look at this so I don't just say random stuff. I think it was 8.3%. Was the last one 8.5%, and they were looking for 8.1%? Let's see. All right, so 8.3%, more than the 8.1% estimate, and near the highest level. But what was the last month's CPI numbers? April. Trying to find it. In April. Well, isn't this month's like for April's reading? But I'm looking for the report that came out in April, which was what from, but we're looking for year over year. I don't know, I'm very confused right now. Let's see if anybody's helping in the chat. 8.5 was last CPI. Okay, thank you. We're just gonna, all right, that's what AK is saying. Go look it up yourself. If we're wrong, we're wrong, but I don't want to spend too much time looking for it. IMEI repair. What's up? You still in Tesla call? I started off the stream saying this is one of the worst weeks for me. It's the worst week for me since January. I'm not in. No, I cut my Tesla calls, but I held them quite far down, and it was a big loss. I'm gonna talk about Tesla. We're gonna get to it. But I also did alert. I think 2 different like intraday moves for Tesla and premium today that worked out. 8.5 previous, 8.3 now. All right, so 8.5% previous CPI, 8.3 this one, and then we wanted, or analysts wanted 8.1. So that's where we're at. So yeah, let's talk about the technicals on the market now. The S&P 500 is really in the middle of nowhere right now. If you get back above 400, which is 2% higher, then you could be back above your support. But for right now, it's your resistance because you're under it. In terms of your next level of support on the 4-hour, I think you closed right at one, which if we zoom in over here, it's a tiny level. But you have a couple of highs over here around like 392-ish from like March of last year, the end of March of last year. And then kind of like 1 or 2 right over here. So minor level, like, I don't know if that's going to be enough for the market to bottom at. I think, you know, if you really zoom out on the daily, the next clearer level I see is like 384. And on the weekly, your 382 is around 381. All right. That's my weekly chart for right now. Daily chart, it's just not much of any signal. You're not oversold just yet on the daily. Moving over to the 4-hour, you kind of broke this random demand line I drew, so we're going to delete that. And then you still have the potential for 4-hour classic bullish divergence on the SPY, but you're not really doing much. And then 1 hour, I think it was testing a breakout earlier in the morning, and it just didn't really do much. So I've changed this wedge up a little bit. So as of right now, I don't see much of a technical edge on the S&P. You're slightly, very slightly oversold on the 4-hour. It's more of just a, like, right now I'd rather just wait to see strength and try and like pick a bottom. I don't know. I just think that there's other areas that look better to me than the S&P actually, which we'll talk about in a few. But moving over to the QQQ, another breakdown today. This blue zone was the key zone we were talking about from over here and over here, and you broke that as well today. You held it for like 2 days, the first 2 days of the week. You broke it today. Next level again is that gap fill we talked about last night around 277, and then the NASDAQ has 11.2K gap fill. All right, this is actually not too far away. I'm going to set an alert here. Keep a close eye on this, all right? Keep a close eye on 11.2K on the NASDAQ. It's only 1% lower. That could be interesting, all right? I've seen a lot of NASDAQ gap fills, especially, maybe even more so than S&P gap fills, act as like lows and highs, at least short term, just off the top of my head, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to realign this demand line a little bit to match that low. We'll see if it lines up better. Kind of. But again, like, you know, patterns like this, it's just not the easiest way to read the market right now. So those are levels on the NASDAQ. I mean, resistance 12K pretty much from these highs over here. Moving over to the Russell 2000, you're at a very, very key area, okay? You're testing this very key level. I mean, you could even extend the zone down to over here at 165 because of this gap fill. But unlike the NASDAQ and the S&P, which on the weekly, they are in the middle of nowhere, right? NASDAQ and S&P literally in the middle of nowhere, nothing looking left on the chart. The Russell 2000 is somewhere. It's somewhere. It's testing some sort of level. So, you know, we've been talking about this all week. We'll see if we can get a reaction here, but it's just tough. It's going to need to detach from the S&P and the NASDAQ, and it's underperformed the S&P and the NASDAQ for a long time now, even before they topped out. Like, so we'll see. And then moving on to the ARK ETF, I am continually amazed. But again, I'll be honest with all of you. You all know that I'm very happy and maybe even bragging a little bit when things are going well. When I'm not doing well, I'll tell all of you. That's just how I am. Like, I got wrecked on Tesla calls. I got wrecked on ARK calls. And yeah, it's literally my worst week since January. So I don't know what's happening. You're just flying right through levels, right? You're just flying. So we had this $40 level coming into today. It was down, it was under that level yesterday after hours with some bad earnings, which we did talk about on stream. But even this morning, you tested breaking back above it, and then you just completely piled over, fell over, whatever you want to say. So now the next level on the ARK ETF is 35, and honestly, I'm gonna go as far as to say that the bullish bat, at least this version of it, it's invalidated. A 97% retrace, I wouldn't, you know, it's in between the 886 and the 113 PCZ areas, but it's not at 886 or 1.13. So I'm gonna just, you know, put this off to the side for a little bit. Maybe we'll talk about it later in the future. But now the next level of support I'd be looking for is this zone right over here, which again, you're not too far from. But it's like, you didn't hold this level of support. You didn't hold this level of support. Maybe you hold these levels of supports. We'll see. We'll see. Delete those circles and squiggly lines. Why is that one not deleting? All right, so that's your ARK ETF. And again, that 113, like, I hope we don't get there. All right, I hope we don't get there. So I don't even want to think about it right now. If somehow we're there, then might be a very, very different situation just for the world. Okay, unless like Kathy does something like horrible, I don't know, but that's your overall market. Basically, the only one that looks like it's at a level is the Russell 2000. All the others are in the middle of nowhere with not much of a technical edge for either direction. The overall trend is bearish. You're still very well in a bear trend, making lower highs and lower lows. So that's where you're currently at. It's just weird. It's just weird because like you're not really at a level. There is more downside in terms of horizontal supports, but it's like you're already down so much that it's like going short now. It's like there was a lot of opportunities in the last few months to open that short. So now going short, it's like you already missed a lot of the ride. You know, it's just who knows how much more this ride down is going to be. So that's where you're at. Let's talk about some individual names now. So Tesla, we focused on last night and it just did not work out, right? And I did say the same thing last night, that it had a chance of not working out, that if it broke this, then you're probably looking for this level. It broke this level too. This is where I stopped out, probably somewhere around over here when you gave up this low. But yeah, Tesla, the overall idea I was hoping for it and where I was hoping for it failed. You know, eventually could this turn into triple classic bullish divergence? Yes, you did get a 1 hour pin bar to close the day. But you know, the initial idea I was hoping for, it did fail, which was like this bat, the classic bullish divergence, all that good stuff. That just didn't work out. You broke support, you fell over. Regardless of that though, I was still able to alert 2 different trades on it. Keep an eye on this, by the way, but I was still able to alert 2 nice trades on Tesla intraday that were calls. And by the way, right now on the sheet, I don't know if it's going to cut out, but yeah, you can kind of see it. These are all of the alerts and options I've put out this week, 2 out of premium and then all these in premium. And in total, 10 out of 12 of these were winners and 11 out of 12 of these were calls. And we're down pretty rough, you know, this week, and the market's down pretty rough this week. So almost all of these were call option alerts and almost all of them worked out. And, you know, this is the only call that did not work out. Twitter was actually a put, and I think actually Twitter fell today, so actually in hindsight it could have worked out, but it just hit the stop. Yeah, Twitter was down 2.5%. But yeah, it's been a great week for options and a horrible week for swings. But again, you know, we've had, typically when we were in like the bull market and everything, the swings would be all the way down to like over here. Like it'd be like 20 to 30 swings. I'm trying to keep it under 10 now. As of right now, this is the first time in a long time there's no swings that are active on the sheet. They all got stopped out. So it's very brutal. Trust me, there's a lot of stress on my end as well. I'm sure a lot of you are stressed as well. That's what the market's doing, but the most patient people will be the winners at the end of the day. So currently no swings on the sheet. I'm looking around for swings, but time. There's going to be time. Even if, we start having dead cat bounces and stuff for an actual reversal in the market, there's going to be time. Trying to pick out one exact day for the exact bottom is just going to be very, very difficult. 99% of people will fail at doing that. All right. But yeah, Tesla in the morning, I think it was the first alert of the day, actually, pretty early in the day. 10:18 in the morning, Tesla calls. And here was really the thing from today. Four alerts in premium, I believe. All of them worked out like boom right away. I alerted it, it went right up for like 20 to 30%, and that was it. That was just kind of like how all the alerts went today, which is both good and bad. It's bad in the fact that like if you weren't like sitting at your desk waiting, then you probably missed it. But also good that if you were sitting at your desk, you got the easiest 20 to 30% ever. You click a button, you're up 20 to 30%, and then it's like, all right, cool. But yeah, 10:18, I alerted these first Tesla calls. Let's go over towards 10 o'clock a.m. All right, so this was the analysis. At first, I was watching this wedge, the divergence, the same things we talked about last night on the stream, and then literally in 4 minutes, they were up 25%, right? This is a 385 premium. When I alerted it, it was at 310 premium. In 4 minutes, these went from $3.10 to 385. That was win number one. And then right, like an hour later almost, I alerted Tesla calls again at 11:08 a.m., all right? So let's go to 11:08, and then at 11, let's see. This was the one that did take some time. This one took quite a bit of time, actually. All right, at 11:37. So it took a whole entire half an hour. Can you believe it? Longest trade ever. At 11:37, they were at 242, and I alerted these at 207 at 11:08. So there was that move, and then I alerted two different SPY lottos, 11:26 alert on SPY lottos. And those were already up 50% in less than 10 minutes. Those were at 117 at 11:34. And they were at 80 cents at 11:26. And then a 12:21 SPY alert. That probably played out in 3 minutes, I think. Here we go. So let's see. 12:23. These were up 20%, it looks like. Yeah. So at 12:23. All right, these were up 30% in 3 minutes. So this alert, the most recent one, was up 30% in 3 minutes. Like, that's how it went today. So, the swings are doing horrible. I actually personally did not do well because Tesla calls, I was holding next week's calls, and I was in also slightly different calls, and I just held them. So I didn't really take the profits here. And then I wasn't really playing these. I had other lottos, but I really wasn't, coming into today, I was kind of actually like holding, and I was just holding. I wasn't really like doing like the 2-3 minute trades. So I was taking like slightly separate like duration trades, and those made me have a horrible day, to be honest. But it was nice to have 4 winners like literally back to back to back to back, and all of them being pretty quick. So that's like literally a recap. I'm not going to spend a lot of time like running through the charts of all of them. Looking for things like triple bottoms intraday. This one like right up here, and then it dumped, but it still did make like the 30% move in 3 minutes. And then, the Tesla wedges played out to an extent. Just a bunch of the normal stuff. Just looking for wedges and supports and stuff like that intraday. So that's literally the premium trade recap breakdown. All right. So now let's just talk about some individual names. Futures have opened flat. Just wanted to put that out there. But let's talk about Fisker now. All-time lows. A little bit of an intraday double bottom to close out the day, but Fisker. All right, let's go over to the week. So I said 2 nights ago that I was not a fan of how it broke these lows, and I said your next level of support is down to 870. We tested that today in the Discord today. I did say Fisker's testing all-time lows. It ended up breaking that, and now you're at all-time lows. So again, as much as I love Fisker, as much as I talk about all the time. And I said the same exact words pretty much, like I think on Monday night. I'm always going to be honest with the charts, right? You broke your supports. So there's no horizontal support here. You could use like fib extensions. You know, you could use a fib extension over here, and you're pretty much you're already at your 1272. You can use a fib extension from over here, a little bit under that 1272. Here, 1272 is down at 578-ish. Or you can use demand lines as well. There's a few different ways you can, you know, chart them though. Chart this. Let me try and line up a little bit better. And then look at it as like one large wedge. I'm actually going to keep this on my weekly. We'll just see what happens. But that's where you're at. And I'm going to be honest. It's fine by me. It's fine by me. Okay. Most stocks are doing the same exact thing right now. And, you know, right now, you know, I'm kind of just waiting to see if we could get some more data. But in general, good job, Bears. Good job, Bears. Keep it at these prices, okay? Keep it at these prices. Because when the variables start aligning and if we're at these prices, I will be buying. That's not financial advice, and I'm not doing it right now, like exactly right now. But when there's variables and you want to keep it at these prices, we'll see how this looks in 5 years. That's all I'm saying. I'm not complaining when some of my favorite stocks go down, okay? Most people complain. I'm not complaining. I look at it as an opportunity, but not necessarily for this month or next month, but for years in the future. And again, it could go lower before it goes higher. So I'm just taking a very open-eyed approach to all this, and hopefully one day you can get back above that support. You know, if the market gives a dead cat bounce, you could literally just fly right back up. Like you're selling off, you know, like if there's no support in the world, when you start going back up, you could go back up like there's no resistance in the world, but we'll see. And then moving on to CLOV, which is also very close to all-time lows. Let's see, did we fill those? I know we filled one of the gaps. So we talked about this gap. Where did I chart that zone? There we go. So you're slightly under this 1 hour zone I charted last night from these lows. And then you got the gap fill, and then your support and your previous all-time lows around 2. CLOV, it's all about 2. It's that simple. You don't even really have to look at charts to be able to tell that. $2 under, if it can hold 2, great. If it can't hold it, there's no support under that. Very same story as Fisker, right? So that's where CLOV is at currently. Hitting bullish divergence is still possible as long as you hold 2. But again, just focus on $2. We'll see if it can hold it or not. And if there was more to talk about, I would talk about more. There just really is. You know, eventually you can get some classic bullish divergence out of this. You are oversold on the 1 hour. You're probably at your lower Bollinger Bands. They're just, you know, they're doing the same things as most stocks right now. That's just what it is. And then, yeah, let's just keep going. What else is on my watch list? MU was another one I was watching today. So Tesla, it wrecked me today, but MU I was able to break even on. Actually, we talked about MU last night, and I actually did enter. We can look through it. I didn't alert it, but I did enter, and I said in chat I entered it, but I didn't alert it or anything. Where was it? I think it was here. All right, so I entered MU like right around over here. Let me make that white. Now you can see this cup and handle and whatnot, and the wedge breakout and everything, but I entered MU calls here. Maybe in a bull market this would have been a legendary trade, but in today's market it just didn't work out, and it ended up breaking even right over here. Like it was like a very small loss. So thankfully I did, but yeah, this was one of them where I was able to successfully cut a loss at the right time today. And let's see where it's at on the daily now. Pretty much retesting your support, your lows from last fall and this year. What else? Let's see where Netflix is at. Down to 166. Next level of support I see on Netflix is like 132-ish. Let's look at GameStop. This is retesting its, 52-week lows? Yeah. So it's all about whether or not I can hold 77. Let me get an exact number. 77-ish. We already talked about that same level last night. You're just testing it now. AMC has broken some supports. And now at $10. Let's go over to the weekly. Yeah, it looks like it's under support to me now. I'd say like $9 is your next support over here on the weekly for AMC. So yeah. Scalping seems to be the way to be most consistent at the moment because of volatility? Yeah, intraday it's been working nice. I mean, our pair says days like this I wish I was in puts. But yeah, the thing is, like, when we do get a flip, like, the type of moves you can see, like, you can see 30-40% moves on stocks like it's nothing. We've already seen it on a few names. Like, we saw Fubo go crazy this week, VRM go crazy this week, multiple. But again, that's, you know, 30-40% move. It sounds like a lot, but after you go from like $12 to $1, you know, going from $1 to $1.30, like, it's 30%, but it's nowhere near where you were, you know. And I'm talking about room in that scenario. Was it $12? Let's see if I remember that correctly. Oh my gosh, no, it's not Vroom. Never mind. Vroom went from 75 to 1, not 12. Oh my gosh. But point still stands. Right, it went from $1 to almost 2, went up like almost 100%, I guess. But again, you know, that's not that hard when you did all this selling first. Coinbase was down 26% today. It's just some crazy selling. We are seeing, I don't even really have a word to describe it, honestly. That's just where we're at. See where Bitcoin is at, still testing this level. All right, so there's your market update and, you know, a few stocks on my watch list and whatnot. All right, a little bit of a shorter stream tonight, and I know messed up the schedule tonight. It's been a long day, and I'm sure it has been for a lot of other people. So go get some sleep or just relax. You want to be fresh, you know. So find some time, relax, have a good night. Thank you for watching the stream, and peace out.